The following program is a product of the students of the Morphos Training for Television and Film, a project of the Mohammed Amin Foundation, supported in part by a grant from Foundation Open Society Institute. The views expressed in this program are not necessarily the views of the Mohammed Amin Foundation or Foundation Open Society Institute.
Tangu zamani haki zetu hatukujua, umefikia wakati wako nami kuchukua hatua. Haki na ukweli tumekuwa tukililia, wazee kwa vijana, chukua hatua, chukua hatua.
Hatua and the group makofi kwao. What a band. Welcome to the Hatua show. Now this is a show where you and I seek solutions to the problems that bedevil our society.
The theme of the Hatua show is about responsibility, awareness, and action.
That's right.
How can we be responsible? How can we create awareness? And how can we take action?
Now our feature today is, or our topic for today is about, the police. People we love to hate, I would say. Now, when you come back, we'll show you a feature that perhaps will bring you closer to where we need to be in as far as the situation is concerned. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Morphos Training for Television and Film, giving you the tools to tell your story.
Sasa basi, welcome back. Now, one thing we're going to learn in this show today is how you and I must, not can, but must become responsible as far as our problems are concerned.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We must embrace it.
Yeah.
So our feature is about the issue of the police. When we come back, we'll talk more about it. But first, take a look.
One of the biggest headaches for anybody working in human rights in this country is the police force.
I was tortured.
They harass people.
They are very brutal. But
it's a challenging job.
Mishahara ni kidogo.
It's risky.
They are a power to themselves. They are not accountable.
If you ask the majority of the police, they will tell you human rights do view police as the #1 human rights violators.
Watu wengi huona polisi kuwa watu wabaya ama watu wenye wanatumia violence ama watu wa harassment. Unaona kule mtu amefanya makosa, lazima umshike kisheria. Mara wameshikwa na polisi, ama akipita mahali fulani lazima pia polisi pesa ndio apite. Sasa hiyo ilikuja ikafika wakati wake kakoma.
Once I was arrested down for coming out from a pub very late, and they didn't want to listen to me. I gave them my ID, they didn't want to take, they just wanted money.
Kuna watoto 6 wote wako college. Na college siku hizi 30,000 above. Mshahara nani 10,000. Unajua sasa hizi hata mwizi akuambia tuende kwenda hapo hivyo unapata unakubali. Because pesa ni kidogo, shida ni mingi.
Ukitoa hii waona iko 100, he criminalizes you, finds fault on you such that you can bribe him with 100 shilling he has seen.
Ongo sijaipewa. Huwa nakataa. Ongo huwa nakataa. Lakini huwa napewa. Kupewa napewa lakini nakataa.
The lack of interaction with people, the use of force, the attitude that police have. I mean, it makes it very difficult to report a crime or even to go to a police station because they just treat people with such nastiness and such disrespect.
Policemen are not there to torture wananchi. What is there is, whenever mwananchi has committed an offense, he never become a friend to police. And police must go by the law. For example, prisoners in cells here cannot talk good of police. But true to it, they have committed an offense.
The police are not accountable. They can keep you in police cell without arraigning you in court for more than 48 hours.
This one must have gone along as a result of either ineptitude on the part of the officers undertaking the particular investigations, may not have had the requisite training properly in regard to human rights.
Police cells are colonial. There are no sleeping apparels, there's no mattress, there's no blanket.
Their conditions here are favorable, and we have no reason why they should be subjected to any kind of suffering.
If you want to inspect a police station cell, let it be impromptu.
Unajua mshahara wa constable, you earn 10,000. And 10,000 here in Nairobi, if you budget, utapata unatumia 300. 300 can't help you anything.
I love this job so much. But when I compare this job, the way it is done in Kenya, maybe to another place, this is different from that job, very different. Vitu kama house allowance, hiyo inaandikwa 1,600. That's small money. That I can only stay with that money in Kibera.
Sasa hizi huitwa officer. Lakini ukiangalia manyumba zenye rahisi, they are slums. Unajua hizi slums within a city.
Kuna 2 bedrooms. Kuna kitchen, toilet, haina maji. Kweli wa mambo, haina maji.
One room we stay 3 people and all of us are married.
It's hostile, and that hostility I think moves on to other people. But that's not for me enough excuse for them, not excuse for them to then brutalize the population.
A robber goes for an innocent mwananchi, is fully armed. He robs such a mwananchi. Policeman confronts such a robber. And at the end of the day, maybe police manages to shoot that robber.
When a policeman kills somebody else, that is a crime, yes. It's also a human rights issue.
Although police doesn't shoot to kill, but with the shooting, who knows? If you aim for an leg and by bad luck the bullet goes on the chest, the fact remains you shoot to disable.
When a police officer kills people, even be a thug, without provocation, the person is lying on the floor, killed, shot in the back, running away, that's when it becomes a human rights abuse. It's a human rights abuse because the human rights laws are clear about use of excessive force. Police should use force as necessary.
Officers are being killed in the line of duty, and nobody really addresses that issue.
Whenever a policeman is shot, nobody comes out to send even a word of condolence or sympathy.
You are human also. Na sisi sasa wengi wetu watu wanangi human, wanatuanga kama policeman. Sasa wanasema tunateteanga raia, lakini sisi hatutetei.
The police are armed by us. Our tax money funds police. They must not kill us unnecessarily with our tax money.
Kitambo ilikuanga tu askari kushika watu ovyo ovyo, lakini unajua kuna changes.
Are we better? I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes you think we are, then sometimes you think we are not.
Kama zamani polisi walikuwa wakisukuma watu sana. Hata vile sisi tulikuwa tumeenda kama college, tunasukumwa sana. Mpaka wewe unatoka pale, you are very aggressive to anything, especially member of the public. Lakini these small changes zimeanza kuja, watu wanatoka college, you are treated like human beings while in college. Straight away pia utatoka utaanza kutreat watu vizuri. Lakini ukiwa college unafanya makosa unapigwa. Then straight away when you come out, you become the animal you are made to be there.
Nothing has changed. The perception of the police is still the old perception.
There has been changes, but we cannot forget that those changes have come about while we are democratizing. So the government was excessive, especially Kanu.
Jina haikuharibika jana, haijaharibika leo. Jina iliharibika zamani sana. We are trying to mend it. That's why kuna kitu kama community policing. They are trying to force the members of the public to come close.
If that thing has to succeed, is that the police have to actually be with the public much more than the way they are now doing it.
Hizi watu wamesoma, watu wanajua they know their rights. Sasa mtu utamshika sana makosa yake.
However misfocused it might be, we as Kenyans should demand as of right to participate in it.
It may have an impact, it may not, but I think the bottom line for me is that there are a number of resource issues and capacity issues that have got to be addressed. We have to strengthen our police in terms of giving them skills beyond torturing and beating people.
I'm comfortable. Hii profession iko nayo. In fact, I like it. Lakini kitu ningependa, yani raia waelimishwe kuhusu kazi ya polisi na wasiwe nani watusaidie. Kuna rights zetu. Kwanza kabisa kazi unafanya iheshimiwe.
Human rights is not the enemy.
It's pretty hard for a policeman to harass me because I know my rights.
Policemen should not be against the public.
You are the ones with the power. And if you're the ones with the power, it's got to be you to start to put your hand out first to make peace. It can't be the community making peace with you when you're the one with power. They're just scared of you.
We as Kenyans should demand some of these services as of our right.
It has a lot to do with the mwananchi.
That's a powerful statement. I think what got me also was a man walking out of the house with a child. And it's interesting how we say there, with the human beings, kuna wananchi na kuna polisi. But anyway, swiftly moving on. Our guest, or the face of this discussion tonight, is somebody who you all know. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause to the government spokesman, Dr. Hatua.
Asante sana, habari yako?
Salam, salam.
I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you for joining us. As we've seen in the feature, there is a lot of negative energy from wananchi, you know, towards the work that police women and men do. Why is there this disconnect?
I think it's important, even before we look at the gap, for all of us to even take some time and just, I'd like to acknowledge that it's very sad, but we have a lot of mothers out there. We have a lot of children out there that have been left behind because their loved ones were killed in the line of duty. It was very touching when the officer said that not even a single person passes condolences. It's as if, you know, somebody else dies, it's okay, but a police officer dies, ni sawa tu, and that is very wrong.
That's right.
I'd like to thank the police, and I'd like to remember the families that have been left behind. And I think we all pass our condolences to them.
There's still an obvious disconnect, Bwana Daktari.
Yes,
and,
there
and,
is.
I'm wondering whether the problem lies with, if I can speak as a layman, in the training.
You got it. It's historical. Okay. It's very, very historical. I mean, when I was growing up, I was looking at those pictures of police officers wearing shorts.
Yes.
And you look at the formation of police officers, they came out as home guards. Yeah. And their job was to rein the Africans to behave in a certain manner. When you're told to squat, you didn't ask why, you asked how low, and you just squatted. Yeah. When I went through school, I went to Jamhuri High School, and we used to cut from, if you know Nairobi, from Central Business District through the Ngara Market and come up. And, you know, one day we got arrested, you know, and I remember vividly, it was in the evening, kijana kuja hapo natoka hapo naenda hapo mbona tangatanga usiku mama yako anaitwa nani kaa chini, you know, and you know, and they ask you questions, and then he says, ndio ofisa nilikuwa unajichana na nani na mimi mago when you know, and it was very simple. It was basically harassment. But also we've had that history.
That's right.
The history of our police force has always been a force that has been out there, not connected with wananchi.
That's right.
And that is why when this government came into power, it set up what is called a task force on police reforms, and that's what we're undertaking. We have to change the system. The system has always been the police out here, the people here. Right. What we want to do is bring the police into the people, so the people and the police work as one. And that is one of the projects that are going on.
Tell us in a sentence or two about the initiative.
I think the initiative, what we're trying to do is first, we have to retrain the police officers in terms of even how to handle people, issues of customer service. We also have to improve the way wananchi are able to communicate with the police, so that you can walk to a police officer and you're very comfortable with how you're talking to them. But also we need to improve the welfare of the police. You know, the police are always accused of corruption, but it's also because of some of their welfare. You saw the living conditions that they live in.
Yes.
It's very sad.
That's right.
You know, and these are the people supposed to protect, you know, you when you live in your big lavish house, or when you live somewhere very comfortable.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And so we are trying, and one of the things we're doing is we have undertaken a project where we're going to build thousands of houses for the police, apartment style. So you're not sharing watu watatu in the same bedroom.
That's right.
It's very embarrassing.
That's right.
Very, very embarrassing.
We're happy to be joined with, and I'm happy she's here, Wanjiko Miano, Executive Director, Kenya Human Rights Commission. Welcome, Wanjiko. I know amongst, you know, in your work, Wanjiko, you have come face to face with the brutality of the police. But I also do know you're very passionate about human rights. Where is the problem?
First, what I'd like to say is that human rights are entitlements for everybody in society, irrespective of hue, irrespective of geographical location, irrespective of persuasion. So what in essence I'm saying is that police officers are also entitled to their human rights. That's something we must understand. Secondly, when we talk about problems within the police force, what we are now calling the police service, because we want to also, in our minds, begin to prepare ourselves for reforms. So we'd rather look at them as a police service. I think it's very important, as opposed to a police force, because
you think it makes a difference?
Yes, the connotation in the term force still has the historical baggage, which looks at the police, the entire police organization, as a force that's intended to contain, a containment force. To change our attitude towards the police as an organization, we also need to change how we title that particular organization. However, you find that over the years, because of the illegitimate connection between the police and government, so that the government sees the police more as a tool or instrument at its disposal to serve its purposes and secure its interests. The police has really not been able to respond as is desired to its calling, even under statute.
Kangeda represents Kenya Human Rights Network. Is this something that is attainable?
Yeah, I think my major concern is with the attitudes. And it's not just the attitude of the police. I think it's the attitude in the whole country.
Yes.
And I think the major problem I see is an attitude towards poor people. Because in this country, it's like when you are poor, you don't have rights. Like if you go to the cells, you find that most of the people there, they're really not the major criminals. Those people are there in the cells because they can't afford the bribe for the police. And so when you look at the conditions in the police cells, they're appalling. They're so bad. And the major problem is that those people are voiceless. Even if you can see some changes, like now when we demonstrated in the streets the other day, I noticed a lot of change towards us who are the human rights people. Before we demonstrated, we got the people calling us, come. We negotiate how we are going to have a demonstration without any security threat.
And I think that is something to cheer about, I mean, we've gotten, now, it's changing from uvamizi kwa wote to tumishi kwa wote. For some time there, the force had been...
So I'm very happy about that.
That's good.
And we really appreciate it.
That's good.
But go to the cells right now at Central Police Station, Kamukoji Police Station, Jogoo Road Police Station. I don't think there is any change in the conditions of those people in the cells.
Our last statement in the feature was my responsibility, take action. And I think the theme of this show, Hatua, Kuchukua Hatua, is about I'm a citizen. I need the police.
That's right.
I need the police. How can I take action? Maybe we should just take a break, and when we come back, we'll see how we can take action as citizens and maybe take a few questions from our audience.
We'll be right back. Stay here.
Morphos Training for Television and Film, giving you the tools to tell your story.
Welcome back to the Hatua show. We're talking about the police and how you and I can become responsible as far as changing that mindset is concerned. And now I want to ask you, is there anything, maybe a question you have in as far as the police is concerned? Yes, you need to tell us your name and your question.
My name is Raphael Okoth, and my question goes to Bwana Daktari. After how long should the police force be retrained to make it people-friendly?
One of the things, one of the biggest problems we've had is that once they leave the police academy or the police training in Kiganjo, that's it.
That's it.
There is no more, you know how you got courses, continuous education. They have the seminars and all that. One of the things we're doing is setting up an academy. It's an academy that takes in the cream that is going to remain and takes them and retrains them even further. Yes, they are trained once in a while and given refresher courses, but we think that we need a proper academy to give them the proper training that actually keeps up to speed in terms of policing techniques, because they change. Zamani walikuwa nafikiri that to get something from somebody, you gave him a permanent headache. That is where you hit his head every 5 minutes. That has changed. Getting torture out of that, which is what was being used in the last regime, and et cetera, improving some of these things so that you're treating people in a humane manner, and also how to protect themselves from criminals. Let me take the opportunity to make a point here. When we talk about human rights, I think we forget to talk about the human rights of the police officers. And I think that's very true. And we find that the police who are killed, who are maimed, who are hurt, nobody seems to recognize them. And you have to admit that they have been doing a lot of work. And at times it's unfortunate, but some of these people who come shooting at the police have to be shot back, to be stopped. Otherwise, they kill the police, they kill the audience and all that. It is not the intention of the police to use the arms given by the public to go killing people, but they also have to defend themselves. So in as much as we cry wolf about human rights of victims who've been killed by police, let us look at the circumstances. We don't want any trigger-happy police officers, but we don't also want to leave our police officers out there just to be murdered and wiped out.
Understood.
The police have had, unfortunately, to kill quite a number of people. That is why nowadays, carjacking in Nairobi is becoming a rumor. It's really gone down. But let me tell you...
Is transfer the answer, Daktari?
There's transfer, but there's also a lot of interdiction. And there's a lot of firing. When we got into power, we find this police force. It's like a garden that is full of bushes, weeds, panya zinakimbia huko na paka na umbwa zinawana huko katikati. It's weeds. And now we want to reform it and be able to dig. We have spent time, we are cutting out the weeds.
Okay.
We are digging, tilling the land.
Okay, maybe we should take a question, another question.
You need to tell us your name, Siti?
My name is Linda Uchel. I work for the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. One of the works of the mandate of the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights is to visit police stations and other places where members of the public are detained or are held in custody. Now, the biggest obstacle that the Commission has in handling its work is the police, because they don't let us get into the cells as we are required by the law. Now, I'm wondering, if you're training the police, are you also going to make them realize that the standing orders of the police are inferior to the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights Act?
I think one of the things that has brought a problem is this sense of one group is inferior to another. And you find that the Kenya Human Rights Commission has come out in a very combative manner. We have the right, it's a constitutional mandate, tutakuja, tutafanya. When you're trying to change a system that has been there for a long time, unakuja na kifua, you're going to meet resistance. I think that's human nature. And I think it's where it's a matter of attitude. There's attitude, yes, in the police stopping, but there's also attitude when people come and say our mandate is superior than yours. Right. I mean, we all have mandates. Your job is not more superior than mine or mine superior than yours. We're here to serve the community. And I think it's about approach. And I think from what I've seen is that there is need also for humbling, for the Kenya Human Rights Commission and some of the officers to be a bit humble when they come into confrontation issues with the police and other government agencies. And I appreciate that the Kenya Human Rights Commission have a mandate, and it's because of carrying out some of these mandates that we are actually seeing changes taking over. And I think they need to continue with the good work they're doing. I mean, exposing all these things that are happening, exposing the police cells, that's why they need to do that. But I think we need to do it from an equal part. Let's talk together, let's put pressure where there's pressure, but let's have a meeting of minds.
Mr. Commander, you're from Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. There seems to be a disconnect thereof in as far as human rights organizations and the police.
It started very well, especially when Ali was appointed as a commissioner of police. And I must say that I get very concerned when the government spokesman says that the Kenya National Commission thinks that it's superior than the police.
No, I'm actually using your own words when you talk about your mandate is above. And I'm saying we need to get from the point of attitude where you think that I am above you, so I can come put things on the table and push you around. We need to get into a place where as Kenyans, we need to learn to work together. We've had so much wrangling. Everywhere you turn around, people are wrangling. Nobody seems to say tushikane mikono, tuende, we solve the problem. Ukija na kifua, we never get anywhere.
You have a question, ma'am? Yes.
My name is Audrey Amoito Kwara. It's for Mr. Hatua. Why is it that our politicians, as soon as they get into parliament, they raise their salaries? Why can't they do it for the police? Police are more important than the politicians in guarding us. Thank you.
Good one.
That's a very good.
What I would tell you to respond to that one?
It's a very, very good comment. We've had this big battle in terms of controlling what is called the wage bill. And you remember when we increased the salaries of the police?
To 15,000.
Even some people complained. Someone anapewa pesa nyingi, And we thought, actually, that's not enough. And I know that Commissioner of Police Hussein Hali has been fighting for the salaries to even rise higher. And we've been meetings where he wants the salaries to go higher. And we hope that with the growth of the economy, whereby now we are collecting more taxes than ever before, and the economic growth going up, we'll have more money to pay our police officers, actually more money for them to...
One of the great interventions of the police force has been the community policing project.
Yes.
Very briefly, Dr. Mutua, what is the community policing project about, for those who don't know, and how can I, Anne, be involved in this?
You see, for a long time, because of our history, we've always looked at policing and our security as something that is done by somebody else while we are sleeping at night, without knowing that we are also very responsible for our own security. We also have a responsibility to identify crime when it's around us. It's not anybody from outside who is going to solve your own crime. It is your own. And as the president has said and as has been repeated, we all know who the criminals are. Si tunajua wanaishi humu, you know, where we are, where we live. We know people who have the guns. We know the people who are the criminals. Parents are hiding their children. They know their children have guns. You go to the wardrobes. For example, the other day there's a story. Went to a family whereby the wardrobe is full of glitz, you know, bling bling, clothes, shoes, everything. 16-year-old kid. The father never gives the kid money, not knowing that the kid is a carjacker, kills people, gets the money. We need to take that responsibility. So community policing is about us working with the police in projects, doing community policing, looking at our neighborhood, do we know who is there, turning him to the police, actually doing walks with the police at night, which is very good for the Kenya human rights too, because if you take a walk with the police at night, you're also keeping them at bay. You make sure they're also behaving in the right manner. But also, you're identifying the people who are there, who are supposed to be there and who are not supposed to be there.
Just above you. Sema jina yako mami and your question.
My name is Lucy Ngina. I want to talk about community policing down there in the villages. We have been mobilizing the people, but the people are not cooperative. It is because of that attitude. The people see themselves as separate from the police because it's called a force. So they think that these people are imposing on us to do their work. Because this thing has not been going on, this community policing in the community, because people are not supporting it.
Tell us who you are, your name, and what's your question.
My name is Alex Mahogo, and I just want to echo what probably she has said about the community policing, and probably to ask the Daktari a question. To what extent is civic education being considered as a project towards achieving that goal about the police force?
I mean, educating the Wananchi is critical because people hear of these big words, community policing, not knowing that it is community where the community is actually involved. And we are rolling out education programs, and community policing is actually performing a bit better outside Nairobi than it is in the big cities. Out in the countryside, people are actually coming together, and I know of an experience, people are coming together and actually building police stations.
Wow.
And actually doing police, working with the police, walking around and doing policing. But there is more in terms of civic education that needs to be done, and I agree with Madam and I agree with Alex here, that there is still a lot of work that needs to be done. And we are rolling out a program across the whole country to teach people and get people closer to the police.
If I want you, Mr. Kamana, before we take a break, to respond to something. We've spoken about, it seems very beautiful, that this will happen and this automatically will happen. If we as a public become responsive, then the police automatically will change. Pipe dream? And if not, how long do you see it taking?
It's a historical problem. The managerial philosophy, the ethics of the police, there has been lack of confidence between the members of the public. So what the police should first do, first and foremost, is to clear the bad blood, to restore the confidence between them and the members of the public. Because as long as the members of the public continue viewing the police in the same way they used to see them those days, then nothing will happen. Yeah. So the confidence and the police must work towards this. The attitude has to change. The public confidence towards the police has to be restored for them to be able to open up to the police and address the issues of.
We take a short break. When we come back, we'll meet at the junction. Stay with us here on Hatua.
Next week, Hatua.
Hi, I'm Anne Mitaramu.
Somebody else.
People speak out on Hatua, a new Kenyan talk show.
I was raped when I was 5 years old. That defined my life for 30 years.
What is it about the way we perceive ourselves?
You're either a potential offender, a potential victim.
Kenyan boys and Kenyan men are being raped.
Join us as we tackle the issues relating to rape.
10:30 Sunday night.
If you would like to advertise on any of the next 5 Hatua shows, call us on 675-1752 or by email thehatuashow@yahoo.com.
We are back on the Hatua show, your show and mine, where you and I seek solutions to our problems. And now we are where Anne wants us to be.
We're at the Hatua crossroads.
That's right.
At the crossroads, we have 3 roads. The road of responsibility, the road of awareness, and the road of action. And we need to take all 3 roads.
That's right.
In this segment, we'll get quick solutions on how we can chukua hatua. Wanjiku, maybe you could give us something on individual responsibility. What can I do?
On individual responsibility, what I'd like to say very briefly is that we must recognize that this is our country. And it behoves each one of us to ensure that they contribute towards creating a congenial environment for everybody's advancement. And towards that end, within the context of police reforms, I think it's important to help nurture a culture that will help bridge the unhealthy distance between us and the police, so that we are both able to ensure our personal and public safety.
It's our safety,
for the benefit of all.
It's our safety.
It's our safety. But at the end of the day, I must underscore that the buck stops with the police. If they are not accountable, there is really very little that an individual could do. So I think ethics must be enhanced and its corporate image must be seen to improve progressively. And for some of those practices and positive developments, it is necessary to begin documenting them so that even the wananchi can actually appreciate that they are fundamental developments and they are fundamental changes in the right direction.
Another solution, just a quick solution, maybe this side.
My name is Harrison Kaudia. Yeah. Okay, I think I'd start from getting the police first take off their uniform. You know, break the ice between them.
But we have something on top.
Yeah, of course. The blue shirt, let's say the blue shirt.
That's right,
you know,
that's right.
Break the ice between them and the community.
Powerful.
And one of the ways I believe in sports, we can do this through sports. You know, get them interact with the youth. You know, don't wait for the child to grow, then try to change the attitude. It's hard to change the attitude of a grown-up.
Thank you. Another solution. The lady at the back, very brief solution.
Okay, my name is Ruth Ayugi.
Hi, Ruth, welcome.
Because of the issue of kitu kidogo, we must say that some of our police are corrupt. But the question is, who bribes who? So as citizens, we should say no, we shouldn't bribe them, we shouldn't give them the kitu kidogo. So we take a tour, say no to corruption, and face justice.
And that means when you break the law, you get arrested, you take responsibility for your actions.
Chukua hatua.
Wewe ni mwanaume. Say your name and what your hatua is.
My name's Ezra, and I think that one of the best things that we can do is to actually employ learned people to be police. I think I would very much appreciate if a policeman one day stopped me in English.
You haven't been arrested for long.
No, I think it would be nice because if they were learned, they would appreciate education and even appreciate our rights. It would be easier to communicate with them.
Would you, if you were to ask to be a policeman, would you be one?
Me? Well, if they increase the salary, yeah.
Maybe one last solution?
Yeah. Let's take a couple more. Yes. Up there, sir.
Well, I would say that one thing is to the public to be more people of more integrity, especially as the police sieve through the information they give the police through the community policing. Yeah, because they should not seek revenge, or because that's one area.
Revenge.
Most are seeking revenge, and other people, you know, in the absence of an explanation, there comes some rumor. You know, so maybe you've just lost your job and you're hanging around there, and then they start spreading some funny thing. Let us be more careful about this.
That's right. That's right. Yes. Let's say a couple more. One from here. Your name, sweetie, and what's your hatua?
I'm Lydia, and my hatua will be that since policemen take their work as a career, they should take it more as a service and help to the people.
As a service.
Yeah, since to them it's not a career like being a teacher, just teaching and going back home. They have to learn to have public relation in them and serve each other better.
Take one last comment from that side. Yes, madam. Tell us who you are.
My name is Ndu, and I think everything is two-way.
it would be very easy for us to say that the entire responsibility lies with the police. But
It's
there are
two-way.
people, it's two-way. There are
That's
people
right.
with which they
That's right.
conduct themselves with, and they conduct on their end. As far as attitude needs to be changed, there's an attitude the Wananchi also must take. If we say there is reform, and we truly see that there is reform, we must now open our minds to look for it, and if it's there, reward it.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, yes. We will close with Daktari.
And I think it's the last comments are really very, very important, because at the core of it is our own security and our own livelihood depend not necessarily on us pushing the blame on somebody else, but on us. Yes, as much as we are trying to reform the police, and the police need reforms, they need to change things, we also have to be responsible. So as we take Hatua, I think we can, it's even better all of us. I'm into this thing of let's hold hands and work together.
Kabisa.
You know what I mean?
Let's all of us hold hands. Let's hold hands. Let's hold hands.
Hatua, you know?
Na mkiweka mkono chini mpige makofi kabisa. Thank you so much for being on Hatua. We'll see you next week with yet another topic for you to discuss and unravel. Take care, nakumbuka mpanda ngazi uishi kwa nyumba ya ghorofa. Take care.
Tangu zamani haki zetu hatukujua, umefikia wakati wako nami kuchukua hatua. Haki na ukweli tumekuwa tukililia, wazee kwa vijana, chukua hatua, chukua hatua.